All right, guys, listen.
Point attention.
I think we're situated. Okay, of the songs that we sang,
Mark, pay attention.
this is just like being in middle school.
Isn't it though?
I'm just getting ready for the kids. Children of Israel.
See, now you need the mic.
It's your
Lord.
You want some water?
The
They're fighting over who's sitting.
Eyes on teacher. Eyes on the teacher.
Okay, boys and girls, can I have your attention, please?
How many different conversations can we have here?
2.
How many people
They're
are
off in twos. Yeah.
It's because they're excited. You guys are excited, having fun, right?
Okay.
Becoming like little children.
The
Yeah,
song
go with that.
that was inserted
That
that doesn't quite fit with, just the regular themes of Shavuot. Which one was it?
Let God rise.
Mountain of the Lord. Thank you, Laura.
Why?
Mountain of the Lord. You tell me. What?
That's Day of the Lord.
Yes, it's about the day of the Lord. It's about the gospel, sort of. It's about.
They're leaving the land of Egypt.
It's about Jerusalem, right?
Lead their case
Hello.
for help.
Which mountain is it about?
Sinai.
Mountain of
Zion.
You just said it.
Not Zion.
You didn't say which mountain.
The one where he gave the 10 Commandments.
Okay, do yourself a favor and look at the words of the song Mountain of the Lord and tell me what mountain it's about. You just sang it.
Mount Zion.
That's not Zion.
Zion.
It says, come to Horeb.
In that day, in the day of the Lord, all the nations will flow up to her and worship God. Where is that? It's Jerusalem. It's Mount Zion.
Mount Zion.
All the rest of the songs
Zion.
and the story of Shavuot is about Mount Sinai. So why did I stick that one in there?
I don't know.
This is why. This is why. Because there's not one Mount Sinai. There's two Mount Sinai.
Right, yeah.
And there's
right.
not one Mount Zion. There's two Mount Zions. Because God did that as a picture for us to learn something. So I'm going to teach you what He did, why He did that as a picture. All right, so let's look at the one that is about Shavuot, the one on which God came down. What mountain did God come down on?
Mount Sinai.
At Shavuot?
Sinai.
Sinai, right? No.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No. Yes. No.
Okay, I'm confused now. Yes or no?
Good. Was Jesus God or man?
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
He's both.
Everything about God is like that. It's always, like a teeter totter, two things at once. It's always like that. And this is no different. The pictures all are like that. So, God came down on Mount Sinai, but He didn't come down on Mount Sinai. He came down on Mount Horeb. So Exodus 3:1 says, Now Moshe was pasturing the flock of Yitro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the west side of the wilderness, or the back side of the wilderness, and came to Horeb, the what? What does it say? The mountain of God. Horeb is the mountain of God, not Sinai.
Wait a minute.
But it's Sinai, not Horeb. It's Horeb. Deuteronomy chapter 4. All we're doing is gathering our facts. That's all we're doing. Deuteronomy 4:10. Remember the day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb. Not Sinai, Horeb. When the Lord said to me, Assemble the people to me, that I may let them hear my words, so that they may learn to fear me all the days that they live on the earth, and so they can teach their kids. He's talking about when all the nation gathered at Mount Sinai, or Horeb, and God gave the 10 words. He gave the Torah. Same chapter, verse 15. So watch yourselves carefully. Be very careful, because you didn't see any form on the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire. I thought He came down to Mount Sinai. Keep saying He came to Horeb. So I'm confused. If you read it like that, you should be confused. You should be. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 2. The Lord our God made a covenant. Now the covenant was made at Mount Sinai in the camp where they got thousands of bulls and goats, and they killed them, slaughtered them, got the blood, and the priests sprinkled the blood on everybody. 1 million people, or something like that. I don't know how many there were. There was sure a lot. And they sprinkled the blood on everybody, along with hyssop and scarlet stuff, like wool, and water. And when he did that, they made a covenant with all of Israel and God. Now this took place at Mount Sinai, in the camp or the wilderness of Sinai. But here it says that this covenant took place where?
At Horeb.
At Horeb. At Horeb. So what you should be seeing is that Sinai is Horeb. Horeb is Sinai. The same thing. But it's got two totally different names. Sort of. I mean, that's what we should see by now. 1 Kings chapter 19. This is about Elijah and Eliyahu. 1 Kings 19, verse 8. So he arose and ate and drank, and he went in the straight. Now what's happening is Elijah's running away from Jezebel, because Jezebel wants to kill him. And he ends up running to Mount Sinai to hide. Well, here in verse 8 it says, he arose and he ate and drank and went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights, all the way to Horeb. What is it called, Horeb?
The mountain of
The
God.
mountain of God.
What do you think of that, pals?
He's got more than one mountain.
It comes right out and calls Horeb the mountain of God. He called it that when he went in Exodus chapter 3 and he saw Yitro, right? Yes. And it's calling it now all the way up to Eliyahu, all the way up to Elijah, 1,000 years later. Very strange, eh?
Interesting.
Malachi chapter 4. Malachi.
Malachi, the Italian prophet.
Malachi. 4:4. Remember the Torah of Moshe. Where was the Torah of Moshe given? Come on, everybody.
Mount Sinai.
Where was the Torah of Moshe given?
Mount Sinai.
Open your mouths and answer. Mount Sinai. All right. 4:4. Remember the Torah of Moshe, my servant, even the statutes and the ordinances which I charged him in
Horeb.
for all Israel. So obviously Sinai is Horeb. Horeb is Sinai. They're interchangeable. Sort of. Sort of. Now I got a picture here. I spent now I've spent 4 hours and 20 minutes on Google Earth searching all around Mount Sinai and Horeb. 4 hours and 20 minutes I've spent. I couldn't find one single thing that archaeologists have found around there because somebody, I think the Saudis, have expunged it, erased it. They changed it all, got rid of all of it.
Hologram.
Did it used to be there?
Yeah.
It's all gone.
We're sharing it.
But
You know what they do?
I got one picture for you of Sinai and Horeb. These mountains are linked with cleavage in the middle.
Really?
Just like breasts. Just like that.
I got our attention.
There's a big
Exactly what I
dip, a big cleavage, a dip right in the middle.
Right.
And I got the best view I could get. It's from above
Oh, yeah,
and to the south. It's above and to the southwest. And I got as good a shot as I could get so that you could actually see that those mountains are linked.
Kind of one mountain, 2 peaks.
Yes, it's one
Oh, that's
exactly
good. That's
right.
perfect.
It's one mountain with 2 peaks. That's exactly right. Well, guess what? Jerusalem's the same way.
Oh,
Jerusalem is exactly the same way. It's one mountain with 2 peaks. So I tried to come up with some verses to show it. So now let's look at Sinai. You've seen Horeb being the mountain of God. Susan, are you okay? You okay? All right.
I know it's warm in here.
Yeah. David, are you okay?
You need one of these?
Exodus 19.
It's 74.
Have you got a fan on you?
I know where the air is.
Okay.
That section of the house is so fresh.
19, 1. This is, the actual story of Shavuot. Exodus 19, 1. In the third month, after the sons of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt. I can't see now. On the third month, after the sons of Israel had gone out of the land, on that same day. What same day? Third day, right. They left on the third month on the same day. So it's third month, third day. Sivan 3. Today is Sivan 6. Well, actually it's not Sivan 6, but it's Shavuot. It doesn't always fall on Sivan 6. This year it did. But Shavuot usually falls on Sivan 6. This year it did, the one in the Bible. So on 3-3, Sivan 3, they all came to the wilderness of Sinai. When they set out from Rephidim. Rephidim is closer to Horeb than it is Sinai. It's a little bit north. And they camped in the wilderness, and there Israel camped in front or at the foot of, underneath the mountain. And Moshe went up to God. So they are in the wilderness of Sinai. And they're at the mountain of Sinai, in front of the mountain. 1911. Let them be ready for the third day. So, what date did they come to Sinai?
Sivan 3.
Come on, everybody.
Sivan 3.
Sivan 3, and now he says, get them ready for 3 days later, which will be Sivan 6. Get them ready for the third day, because the Lord's going to come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of everybody, and you shall set boundaries for the people all around. Verse, that's good enough. The Lord will come down on Mount Sinai. But we saw that he came down on what? Horeb. Now it says he's going to come down on Sinai. 1918. 1918. Mount Sinai was all in smoke because the Lord descended upon Mount Sinai, in fire. And its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace. So now we got him coming down on Mount Sinai. It's 2 at least. Exodus 34, verse... Well, hold on.
1 foot on each.
18 through 23. 18 through 23 says it 5 times. It says Mount Sinai. God came down on Mount Sinai. It says it over and over again. 18 through 23. It says it over and over again. Now in Exodus 34, 32. It came about on the next day that Moshe said to the people, "You yourselves have committed a horrible sin, and now I'm going up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin." Why do I have that?
34, 32.
34, not there yet. Verse 32, "But now, if you will, forgive their sin, and if not, please blot me out from the book," that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing.
Afterward, Moshe Israel came near and gave them all the mitzvot that Adonai had spoken.
Where is that?
On Mount Sinai.
Yeah, the end of Mount
34, 32.
End of verse 32.
Oh, I'm in
Yeah.
chapter 32.
That's fine.
That would do it.
That would be why.
Been there, done that.
34, 32. All right. Afterward, the sons of Israel came near, and he charged them to do everything that the Lord had spoken to him on Mount Sinai. So there it is again. Leviticus chapter 7. This is after God gave... Can anybody name all 7 sacrifices?
Probably.
Besides you?
In order?
No, I don't care in order. Can you name all 7 sacrifices?
Olah.
Shalem, the peace offering.
Olah.
The Olah, the burnt offering.
Grain.
Mincha, the grain offering.
Peace.
Peace offering.
Fire.
Shalem.
Fire offering.
Hold on.
Ha'atat.
Hata'at, which is a sin offering.
Fire offering.
And the guilt offering.
The guilt.
Not
The guilt offering is Asham.
Fire.
There's 2 more.
Free will offering.
There's no such thing as a free will offering.
Yeah,
It's a terumah.
Yeah.
Money, the Christian offering.
Hold on.
Terumah.
The terumah is the
Lifted up.
lifted up. Terumah is one more.
And
One more.
Give us a hint.
No, I'm not
Paradamah.
going to do that.
You have the whole Torah right there.
Oh,
There's your hint.
What was the other?
The
One of
Todah.
the 7.
The Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank God.
Thanksgiving offering. Todah.
Okay.
I
Sure.
didn't hear you.
I said it.
I didn't hear you. That's what the kids do in school.
She said that.
I didn't hear you.
We are the children
So,
of the Lord.
right. After these 7 offerings are given, in Leviticus chapters 1 through 7. Then in chapter 7, verse 37, it says this. All that stuff that I just said, the 7 offerings, is the Torah of the Olah, the Mincha, the Chata'at, the Asham, then what we're going to do for ordination for the priests, and the Shalem, the peace offering, which the Lord charged Moshe at Mount Sinai in the day he charged the sons of Israel. So when did he give these offerings? Where did he give these offerings?
Tonight.
In Mount Sinai. So we've got all this evidence that tells us 2 totally different things. Last one, Nehemiah. The evidence tells us that, I mean, if you just put the evidence together, it basically says Sinai is Horeb. Horeb is Sinai. But the reality is, they're not. They're separated by cleavage, by a furrow, by a ditch, by a cleaving. Remember about the rock is cleaved,
Valley.
and the water comes out, and Yeshua is cleaved,
Do you think
and
at
the Holy
some-
Spirit comes out. It's the same
Do you
picture.
think at some point there wasn't the cleave?
Maybe. That's a good question. He just said, so maybe at some point there wasn't the cleave.
That's cool.
Think about this. It is possible.
That's really cool.
That's beautiful. Because there had to, listen, there had to be a division. There had to be a cleaving. When God cleaved in half that rock and the water poured out from its gut, from the depths, and the Yeshua was cleaved, and the Holy Spirit came out from his gut, and the temple veil was cleaved in half, and the Holy Spirit came rushing out to us. There has to be a division between this thing, mountain of God, Yeshua, whatever it is, the rock, whatever. It's got to be cut. Yes.
The reason it's really cool that it could have been one unit prior at the time of this event is that the erosion and geographical whatevers that have happened between then and now would create a scenario for the naysayers to say, look, no, it's 2 pieces. It's like you're seeing with your natural eyes, you're not seeing with what's actually happened.
I don't think that's correct. I'll tell you why. Because Israel had to see that cleave.
Okay.
Just like they had to see the cleave, which we're going to see, between, the one at Jerusalem.
Well, yeah, because that was a picture for them.
I believe that possibly, way back, they might have been one. But by the time you get to Israel, they're 2.
Maybe before the flood.
Maybe. But there had to be a division.
One more division. Lynn's hurt.
Mount
We both
Ebal
heard.
and Mount Gerizim.
Right, very good. Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, same picture.
Right.
I completely forgot. Very
You know
good.
what?
That's
In
very good.
Daniel's defense, all through Yeshua's ministry, he would say things to people, and some of them would get it, and some of them wouldn't. And there may be something to that, though.
Just an idea.
I'm listening to
Mark.
Yes, Mark.
Looking at the mountain in a different.
Remember about, you were saying about the hoof that was,
Ooh, that's good.
Cleaved completely. Yes, makes it kosher.
so maybe that, God did that on purpose.
Did what?
The 2 mountains and the cleave in between.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he didn't do it by accident.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying God did it on purpose
Another picture. Choose life.
to create the
You got
picture.
it.
Like the rock.
I'm gonna look that
You
up.
know,
Yes.
but on the same type of impact.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm
You
saying.
got it.
You got it.
A woman has.
Okay, Nehemiah.
That's funny how you say nobody blood.
In all respect.
Primary glands changes smell or blood smell.
Nehemiah 9:13. Then you came down on Mount Sinai, but I thought it said it came down on Mount Horeb.
Must have a correlation.
Okay, I've lost you guys, and it's not fair. It's not fair. I'm trying to teach.
I'm here, we're here, we're
It's not fair.
Well, why isn't it fair though? Because Michael put in a lot of time and work into this. Like staying up till 1, 12 in the morning, sacrificing family.
That's why it's not fair.
So
They're not paying attention.
and it's me too.
Well, we did 4 hours study.
I get it.
No, I spent 4 hours and 20 minutes in a fruitless
You
circle.
spent 30 years studying. What are you talking about?
You came down on Mount Sinai and you did speak with them from heaven. You came down on Mount Sinai and you spoke with them from heaven. When God gave the Torah, He didn't just, it wasn't like in the movie. You know, like God's like a fire thing and it's going, and then I said this voice coming from, you don't know where it's coming from. That voice was coming directly from heaven to Moshe. And he knew it was coming from heaven. So it was down. He's up on the top of the mountain. It's coming right down. And by the way, think about that. He's up on the top of the mountain that's covered in fire.
Right.
Scary.
So remember, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and then the angel was in there.
That's my
protecting
point.
them?
By the way, it says in the Psalms. It says in the Psalms, I don't know if you're aware of this, it says, Moshe received the Torah, was with the angel on the top of the mountain. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So, very much like Shadrach, I'm like Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
Right.
That he was totally, I mean, you've seen on TV when there's volcanoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go up on the volcano.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right.
That's basically what it is. And he's up there, and there's fire everywhere. And in the middle of all that, there's this voice coming down from heaven, and the angel is there talking to him, giving him. Where did this take place?
Mount Sinai.
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 Sinai Horeb.
Both. Maybe right in the middle.
On the mountain of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Horeb Sinai.
Right, Horeb Sinai.
So now there's a lot of verses about Mount Sinai and Horeb. Very few about this other set of mountains. Jerusalem is the same thing, same picture. 2 mountains. That's 1 mountain. Everybody says, let's go up to Jerusalem. Let's go to the mountain of Jerusalem. Let's go to Zion, Mount Zion. Which one is that? 2 Chronicles 33. Where are we going? I have spent, God, I don't know, maybe 300 hours studying the topography, archaeology, views, art, artistic renderings of Jerusalem, just of Jerusalem city. But you know what I've never spent time with?
Chronicles 33.
Mount of Olives. I've never really spent time with the Mount of Olives.
Same here.
I don't know much about it. When we were there, I mean, I was fascinated with the view of it. It's just covered in graves.
Yeah.
Just millions of graves covering the entire Mount of Olives now. It used to be
Olives?
like that. There were always
Yeah.
graves there, but there's more now. And they've cleared where the graves have always been. They've cleared that out. It didn't used to be like that. Well, it's the greenest part there. But most people don't know that was where people worshiped. What did you say to me that I said keep it in mind?
The red heifer was.
That's not what you said. You didn't say about the red heifer. You said that's
Yeshua was crucified.
That's not what you said.
Which part? I said a bunch of things.
Yeah,
I
you
know,
did.
but
You
I
did.
said keep that in mind for
Yeah,
the teaching.
I'm trying to. Oh, everything happens on the Mount of Olives.
You said,
What-
yeah,
if-
everything that the Jews did in worship happened at the Mount of Olives. Not on Mount Zion. It happened on the Mount of Olives. And when he said that to me, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Because, first of all, I didn't know that. And most people don't know that. I mean, I had a little inkling, but I didn't really know it. And for him to say it like it's, casually, like it's no big deal, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, Joe.
Yeah, I've been writing about it off and on for the last 3 years.
Cool. 2 Chronicles chapter 33, verse 15. We're going to shoot way forward in time to the kings of Judah. This is talking about I think it's Hezekiah. No, Manasseh, but he's a bad guy, so it can't be Manasseh.
Manasseh?
No, it was Manasseh. It was before he became that.
Okay, this is before he was horrible, I guess.
Yeah.
So Manasseh, verse 15, he also removed the foreign gods and the idol from the house of the Lord, as well as the altars which he had built on the mountain of the house of the Lord. Well, you'd think that's Jerusalem, right? Mount
On
Zion?
the mount in the house. Yeah, where the
The
temple is.
altars, plural, on the mountain of the house of the Lord.
In Jerusalem.
Of the house of the Lord, and in Jerusalem. And, in addition to, and in Jerusalem. So in other words, the mountain of the house of the Lord, or the mountain of God, is not Jerusalem.
Right. Or he wouldn't have said and.
It should be, but it is not. Is. It is, but it's not. And he threw him outside the city. So I'm like, okay, I read that and I'm like, what does that mean? What's the mountain of God if it's not Jerusalem?
Apparently it's the Mount of
Right? It
Olives.
makes no sense to me. So I'm gonna show you where it is.
I
Go
can
to-
only think of the tabernacle of David.
Go to 2 Samuel 15. The tabernacle of David was in David's city.
Right,
The
that's
city of
Jerusalem.
David. No, the city of David
Oh,
is that
so
hill of
Lord.
Jerusalem.
What are you talking about?
Go to 2 Samuel 15, and this will give you the answer. David is fleeing from his son Absalom. Absalom's going to kill him. And as he's fleeing the city of David, look at me. He goes way down into the Kidron Valley, and he comes back up, and it takes him a long time to get up the Mount of Olives. And as he's going up, it takes him a long time because all these groups of people are coming to him. And he has to deal with these groups of people before he gets up there, because he's got to get out of the city. And all these people are coming, David, what do we do? You gave my family an inheritance. What are we going to do now? Okay, do this, do this, do that. Okay, they go back to the city and they do it. And this kept happening with people. Because he's gone. For all they know, he's not the king anymore. They don't know what's going to happen. So all his friends and his enemies come and do stuff as he's on his way up out of the city. Yeah, it would be a great movie. 2 Samuel 15:32. It happened as David was coming to the summit. Now the summit is the Mount of Olives, where God was worshipped.
Wow.
Isn't that a trip? God wasn't worshipped down on Jerusalem, in Jerusalem. He was worshipped on the Mount of Olives. It wasn't just the red heifer.
Yeah.
Everything was done there. Everything was done on the Mount of Olives. You didn't know that, did you?
Oh, I did.
Look at verse 30. David went up the ascent of the Mount of Olives, and he wept as he went. His head was covered, and he walked barefoot. Then all the people who were with him each covered his head and went up weeping as they went too.
That's a cool cat coverage.
Yeah. So he's going up the Mount of Olives, and he gets to the top, and it says when he got there where God was worshipped, but I thought God was worshipped in Jerusalem, on Mount Zion. It's the same thing as Sinai and Horeb. Is it Jerusalem? Mount Zion, I should say, or is it Mount of Olives? Yes, it's both. God's house, God's mountain, God's mountain. Look at that song again. The mountain of the Lord. The chorus says, in the last days, the mountain of the Lord will be chief of all the mountains and high above the hills. All the nations will come to it and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. What are they going up to?
Worship.
What are they going up to? Which mountain?
Yes.
Are they going? Are they going up to
Mount of
Mount
God.
Olives, or are they going up to Jerusalem?
The Mount of God.
Yes.
Yes. So it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be two. Don't get offended. I have to say it like this because this is the bottom line. It's two breasts. It's not one. God didn't give women
El
one breast in the
Shaddai.
middle of their chest. That's offensive.
El Shaddai.
It's two.
Right.
Breast.
Yes. Say that again.
El Shaddai.
El Shaddai. Listen.
Right.
A shad, not a shed. A shed is a demon. A shad is a breast. Shaddai means plural. Breasts.
Multiple
El
breasted
is
one.
God. El Shaddai means God of breasts.
Many
Why?
breasted one.
I mean, breasts.
Yep.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's
Yes.
usually translated Almighty, but
But it's not Almighty, it's
Right.
breast.
It's breast.
and Michael,
Yeah.
to take that point from 2 Samuel,
Uh-huh.
you taught a long time ago that when David left, he took the ark was coming with him.
Nourishment.
The priest brought the ark out because they were going to go with him, and he said, "No, leave the ark here, stay here." In 2 Kings 18, Hoshea at the time starts doing the same thing that Manasseh did. And it says he removed the high places, smashed the pillars, cut down the Asherah poles. He also broke in pieces the bronze serpent that Moses had made, which was on the Mount of Olives.
Wow.
Ah, that's right. Very good. Nehushtan was also on the Mount of Olives, and they worshiped it
Yeah.
there. So things were much more complicated than we'd like them to be. The worship of God was a lot more complicated than we want it to be. It's not simple. It's very nuanced and very complicated. You have to separate things out to really get a clear picture. It's not as easy as we'd like it to be. So these two mountains are a picture of two breasts. Well, what does a baby do when it's born? It sucks milk from the breast, right? That's our life when we're babies.
The name, you said?
So that's the picture of El Shaddai too.
Right.
No, that's the picture of El Shaddai, period. That's what it's a picture of,
Also comfort.
which is what I'm going to show you.
And it's also interesting that there's the two aspects of the Torah, the teaching and the first.
Yes.
When there's
Milk and
the
honey.
and
We're going
Torah.
to talk about
And
that.
honey, comfort.
Now, I gave you a picture here of Jerusalem and Mount of Olives.
Right.
I'm an artist. I look at things visually. I never saw this before, but that looks like a woman like this, with her arm up, and there's one breast and there's the other one. There's a cleavage in the middle, which is the valley of Kidron.
Oh, yeah,
She's
huh?
pointing to,
I don't know.
holding on to.
I don't know. She's got her arm up. That's the way I see it.
Only she knows.
If this is, if the
Yeah,
head
only
is
she
north. You see what I'm saying?
prerogative.
I never saw that.
I don't see the
before.
arm.
Is she pointing to Jerusalem?
Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about what's here.
This one.
Let's just deal with what's here. Let's just deal with what's
We're
here.
talking about the lower picture?
Guys,
Which,
don't go off in la la land, please.
La, 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 la.
I don't see the arm.
Let's just deal with what's here.
Do you have any more of those?
No.
Here?
Now,
Got it.
Isaiah 2 and Isaiah 40. No, Isaiah 2 says, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, in the day of the Lord, in the last days. The mountain of the house of the Lord will be chief above the mountains, raised above the hills, and we will all say, 'Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord.'" Yes?
Yes.
It says in Zechariah that the entire area, including part of the Mount of Olives, will be lifted up above all the other hills. And all the other hills will come down flat. And all that will be left is Jerusalem raised up. I always thought of that as like kind of like a mesa, you know. But I'm starting to change what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it has to have those two peaks. God's not going to bring Mount Sinai and Mount Horeb down. They're going to stay like that with two peaks. And I believe maybe the same thing will happen with Jerusalem and Mount of Olives. They'll stay as those two peaks. So maybe the way I've been picturing it isn't so accurate. Maybe it'll all raise up and it'll retain the peaks,
Right.
as it's raised up, perhaps. So, if it's true that God wants this cleaved, that's why I keep saying cleavage, because I want that word cleave in there. He cleaved things. He split things. And so there's that cleavage in the middle and two mouths, two breasts. The children of Israel are children. I keep saying it to you. You act like a bunch of middle school kids. We're so dumb. We're like kids. We're like dumb kids, right? And So we're supposed to suck at the breast
Yep.
of God because He's Shaddai. But the trick is, what are you sucking from the breast? Christianity?
No.
No.
It's His word.
Milk.
Yeah, but what does that mean? How do you get His word from sucking? What does that mean? Sucking at His breast.
Gotta be intimate.
So the reason I'm saying it like this is because
Nutrition.
he communicates the answer to us
And
in
to come
pictorial imagery.
Sucking at the breast requires an action from the person that's getting nourished.
It does.
Got to be intimate.
He has to work at it, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't just,
It won't just
you
flow on
don't
its own.
just squeeze it out. You know?
He's feeding
Watching
us.
a movie the other day, I can't remember which one it was, and the baby
He's fighting for that, man.
wouldn't attach and wouldn't latch on and start sucking the milk. And then finally the baby did, and you could hear it.
We don't starve otherwise.
And I remember there was times where I think it was with Becca. Becca, it was like sometimes she would suck and sometimes she wouldn't. Eileen had a hard time with it. I think it was her. And it was like, I thought it was just like, just simple. It's not. It's, I'm a guy. What do I know?
Yeah, right.
So
Right?
he's right. It requires
You were a
action.
baby once.
Yeah, but I don't
He
remember.
didn't remember.
It requires action on the part of the baby to suck and to
Effort.
do that, and effort. And it does take effort.
It's
And
the Lord feeding us, but we gotta go get the milk from Him.
Yes, you
You
gotta
will
go get
not
it.
just, that's all it is.
Yes. Yeah, it's not just laying on there and.
Right.
Well, my
He has
son
to
would
be
start
accessible
sucking
too.
long before.
Oh, really?
wow.
Yeah.
So he was prepped before.
Yeah, he was like ready.
That's how you knew he was
Yeah,
hungry.
there's some
Yeah,
people
he
like
would
that.
let me know he was hungry.
Well, the question is, how do you do that in a spiritual sense?
Anyway.
And this is where the meat of the teaching is. Get it? Get it?
You said you're going to teach us how to eat.
I'm going to teach you how to eat Jack. Isaiah 66. This is one of my favorite passages. Wait, before we go there, go to Isaiah 40.
Isaiah right there.
40, verse 9.
Isaiah 40, I've written more songs about this passage. I don't know why, right? I've written like
You have all
8.
these songs?
I've written like 150 songs. I've written like 8 or 9 songs about Isaiah 40. I'm not an evangelist, not by any stretch of the imagination, but this passage is about the evangelist. And it's just the exact opposite of what Christianity preaches.
John.
Because what it says is, in verse 6, a voice says, call out. Well, what should I call out? In other words, what should I preach? Preach this. All flesh is grass, and all of its beauty is just going to burn. It's all going to burn. The grass withers, the flowers fade, the breath of the Lord is going to blow on it, it's going to be gone. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God stands forever. And then he says this, Zion, get up on a high mountain
Oh, yeah.
and preach. But he doesn't say what to preach. So what does Zion preach?
The Word of God.
How?
Bizarre, good news.
No. How does a city,
Oh,
how does a literal city up on a hill preach to the world?
the
They live it.
ramparts.
They live it.
Something visual.
Columns,
Right, the visual
stones.
stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly, the stones and the buildings and the walls and the towers and the gates and the temple and the sacrifices and the priesthood and the orderly way
Do
that
it.
people
They do
go
the
up to
work.
worship. Basically, Judaism.
They do it. Yeah.
Judaism. The new moon, the Sabbath, the festivals. Think about this. Think about this. God says, Zion, get up on a high mountain and preach. You are
Kara, right?
Neveseret Sion. Meat bringer or gospel bringer, Zion. Zion, Jerusalem, is the gospel bringer, not the church.
That's right.
And I'm sorry to have to say it that way, but that is what
We forget.
it
That's
says.
the truth.
And if you can get that mental picture, At least get it, ruminating. It's going to take a while for it to really take hold. But if you can really start thinking about that thing is lifted up, that city, God's city, Jerusalem, not Christians. Jerusalem is lifted up, and whatever it is, whatever its lifestyle and culture and cycles is supposed to preach to the world. Get yourself up on a high mountain, Zion. Get yourself up on a high mountain. Meveseret Zion. Zion, preacher of the gospel. Zion, preacher of the gospel. Zion, preacher of the gospel.
Why is it a preacher of the gospel?
I just said why.
Picture. Because it's got the truth.
Whatever is taking place in that lifted up city is the gospel.
The gospel isn't what the church taught you it was.
Oh, hold on. He's having a hard time getting his head wrapped around it. There's this thing, whatever it is, whatever that is that's lifted up, that thing, whatever comprises it, whatever is happening in it, whatever its cycles and culture is, that is the Meveseret Zion. That is Zion, the gospel bringer. Whatever that is. I'm not saying what it is, except to say that we know some, that it's the sacrifices, yes? Up on that hill, that took place there.
The history of what the Lord did on Mount Zion is what we're supposed to preach to the world, what happened there.
No.
That's what I want to
Not what happened, what's happening.
Yes, a living thing.
That's the difference. It's not, we don't look back, oh, that's a pretty city, that's some cool stuff in there. It's, no, let me speak. Please don't do that. It's not that we look back at it and go, some cool stuff happened there.
Right.
We look at it and as if we're there and look at what is happening and go, that's the gospel. Now, talk to me. Preach to me. But you got to see it first. Does that help to clarify?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at it again.
It's because we're used to reading history, the past.
Yeah, right.
And everything that the Lord does is history happening now.
Right.
We're walking it out backwards.
They never taught you how to circle.
It's the way that we as Gentiles look at the word remember.
Yeah.
In Judaism, when you remember, you're not just looking in the past, you're looking forward.
That's right.
Present and forward.
And as Gentiles, it's hard for us sometimes to wrap our head around, you remember ahead of time? Yeah, it just
See, I'm
doesn't
trying
make
to
sense.
grasp
It's
it.
not necessarily remember, but nostalgia.
I'm trying to grasp exactly
well-
what you're saying.
I know, it's tough.
Because when you try to explain to somebody else, you gotta make sense of what he's saying. What he's saying is gonna come out of my mouth to somebody else.
Right.
And I gotta get it right.
Well, I
You
understand.
get me?
That's exactly what I'm trying to help you with. Okay, look at verse 8 again. Look at verse 9 again.
Take this
Who are you saying that to?
to us.
Oh.
Okay.
Look at verse 9 again.
I know.
Look at verse 9 again. God says, get yourself up on a high mountain, Zion. Get yourself up on a high mountain, Zion. Preacher of the Besar, Meveseret Zion. Zion, gospel bringer. You are the gospel bringer. So whatever is going on up there in that city, if you can get a mental picture of what's taking place in there, that should preach the gospel. Whatever that is. Does that make sense? Whatever that is. Lift your voice mightily. And who's he telling to lift their voice mightily? Zion, Jerusalem. Whatever's going on in Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, Meveseret, bearer of the gospel. Jerusalem, bearer of the gospel. Meveseret. Lift it up. Don't be afraid. Tell the cities of Judah, here, up here is your God. So, obviously that thing up there should be screaming to the world from the stuff that's taking place in it. So the trick is to start learning what's taking place up in that city. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And remember, there's two peaks. and there's milk coming out of them. There's milk coming out. They're coming out of what?
Rest.
Well, yeah, but what are they coming out of?
The 2 peaks of
The
Jerusalem.
mountain of God.
Zion, which is Mount Zion and Mount of Olives.
Is that what it's called, Bat Zion?
Yes.
Perhaps what?
That's why it's called Bat Zion, daughter of Zion. Yes. Oh, now look at this. This is going to freak you out, Jack. Isaiah 66, one of my favorite passages. This is another one I've had a real hard time communicating to people. I have a real hard time communicating Isaiah 40 to people because they just can't see it. It's just hard to see.
If you go to Acts 10:36 and Romans 10:15 in the New Testament, it's confirming what you're saying about preaching, and it's preaching Jerusalem. That's what it shows here in
Well,
Isaiah 40 verse 9.
yeah, but those are not saying the same thing. Those 2 passages you just quoted, or that are listed there, they say this. They say something like, you need to go out and preach. Why? Because they haven't heard, so they need to preach right. It doesn't say it's Zion preaching from Zion things about Zion,
Right.
and that's the gospel. It doesn't say that. But I appreciate that that's there. Isaiah 66, verse 10. Be joyful with Jerusalem and rejoice for her, all of you who love her. Be exceedingly glad with her, all of you who mourn over her. So you can nurse and be satisfied with her comforting breasts. 2 of them. And who is she? Who is she?
Bat Zion.
Guys, it just said it. Who is she?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Be joyful with Jerusalem so that you can nurse at her breasts. Well, what are you getting from her breasts if you're going to Jerusalem? Jewish stuff.
Right? Judaism.
Kosher laws, the new moon, the Sabbath, the festival, the priests, the offerings,
Judaism.
the temple, all the details of what would be nowadays called Judaism.
Take it.
This is so hard.
Did it say he would die?
Who knew?
No, he would die.
Who knew?
But it doesn't sound
Yellow.
I don't know why.
This is human nature.
Verse 11. So that you may nurse and be satisfied with her comforting breasts, that you may suck and be delighted with her bountiful bosom. So whatever's coming out of Jerusalem is milk.
Right.
Whatever's coming out of Jerusalem is milk. Not what's coming out from believers. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say what's coming out from my people. It doesn't say what's coming out from those who are born again. It doesn't say what's coming out from the Holy Spirit.
No.
It doesn't say anything like that. It says the milk is coming out from where?
Jerusalem. Zion.
And it's stating that like there's a woman and there's a mother. That's what it shows here.
Yeah, we're not done.
From Jerusalem.
For thus says the Lord, behold, I extend shalom to her, to who?
To Jerusalem.
Jerusalem like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like an overflowing stream. And you will be nursed. You will be carried on the hip and fondled on the knees, just like one whom his mother comforts. So I will comfort you. Our comfort, I mean, I know it sounds weird. I know it does. I know it just sounds so upside down and backwards. Our comfort is in Judaism. That's our comfort. That's why we're here.
Was it true?
Yeah, but it still sounds odd.
So
I mean, would you say that to somebody? I feel horrible. Well, you need comfort. I do. Maybe you should come to church with me. No, I got a better idea. Go seek Judaism. Would you say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would. I don't know.
I have to know the person.
Daniel
really
would,
well.
for sure.
I mean, if I got to know him better, I might, but I don't think I would say that. Yeah.
Maybe it's like a figure of speech between the breast and Judaism and Jerusalem.
It's the ultimate figure of speech.
That's the whole
That's for real.
thing. That's what I keep saying.
Hold on, Mark.
It's a picture.
Even Gentiles
It's a
understand
picture.
that.
Mark's practical.
It's a picture. Everything in the Bible's a picture. Everything.
You got it.
You got it, Mark.
You, Mark, you're on it.
Everything is a picture. What you're calling a figure of speech, the Bible doesn't say that. It says a tavnit. It says a picture.
Oh, pictures.
It never.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. A picture of speech. It never says a
God,
figure.
God
of speech.
speaks in visual.
God speaks in
visual
pictures.
arts.
Right.
It's the first LED TV, remember?
He's an artist.
All right.
First big screen.
This is an actual photograph.
Give you access. Okay, do it.
This is an actual untouched. I didn't retouch this photograph. This is a scribe.
You didn't Photoshop that baby bottle in there?
This is, you can find the book. It's
I know, I'm joking.
It's called Sofer, the story of a Torah scroll. That's what it's called. Sofer, S-O-F-E-R. The story of a Torah scroll. And it's by this Sofer, a scribe, and he's got a picture in the book of him having just bought the ink for writing the Torah. And he's looking at it. It's sold in baby bottles.
I thought it
The
was
Jews sell ink for the Torah scroll in baby bottles.
Wow.
Why? Because it's a figure of speech?
No, it's a picture.
No, because they
A
know the
picture
picture.
of speech.
They know it's a picture of speech. They know the picture. That whatever that ink is writing is my milk. And I'm a baby. And I'm going to drink it.
And you can't just get
And
that.
it's the only thing I want is that milk.
It's not speech, it's a plain picture of what we're getting. That's why they put in the baby bottles. Because
Well,
once
that's-
it's on paper, we read it, and that's what we're taking in.
That speaks louder than just a bottle.
It sure does.
Yeah.
When was the ink given?
Today?
Nope. When was the ink given?
Mount of Olives?
No.
The ink was given.
Mount Sinai.
What did they
When he
write
wrote
with the ink?
When he wrote
The Torah.
Torah.
When was it given?
Today.
Today. It's Shavuot. Where?
On Mount Sinai.
That's why we eat milk products on Shavuot.
Right. Hello.
So let's eat. That's this whole teaching was to teach you how to eat milk products.
Right. That's why.
I'm glad we got through it.
That's why there's cheese.
You barely got through it, Mark.
It's okay.
You were ahead the whole time.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He's still lagging behind.
Where did we get chocolate milk? Okay, another subject for another time.
You know, I know that your minds are.
It's a different body.
I know that your minds are undergoing a change.
Slap a nibble on it.
The problem is, while your mind undergoes this metamorphosis, I would so appreciate it if you could quit on us. I would so appreciate it. As your mind undergoes this change, there are certain things and certain issues that you're going to have to deal with. And this Isaiah 40 of the city being the preacher of the gospel, Judaism being the gospel, that's one of the biggest ones you're going to have to deal with. It's really tough. Because, I mean, I know how you think. I've heard it all my life. Your whole life you've heard the same thing. You got the gospel and you got Judaism. And it's like oil and water, they don't mix. Well, you know what? You're doing the same thing in your mind. You're doing exactly the same thing that the Orthodox Jews do. Because they go, Yeshua's over here, and Judaism's over here, and they do not mix. And so, they do not mix milk and meat. Basar, the word gospel, means meat. And they keep the meat over here, and they keep the milchit, the Torah, the milk, totally separate. They should not be separate. They should be together. They should be mixed.
Cheeseburgers.
Yes.
Amen.
They should be
That's a
mixed.
good picture.
Hamburger pizza.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not kidding about
Bridge
this.
between the two.
The Torah and the gospel are one.
Right.
In Acts chapter 2, what did God do? What did God do in Acts chapter 2? Everybody was gathered together. What? He poured out the Holy Spirit, right?
Yes.
On Shavuot.
Right.
On Shavuot in Exodus chapter 19, what did he do? He gave the Torah. The Torah and the Spirit are the same.
Right. No
They should be
difference.
mixed. But you're going to have to figure this out. You're going to have to really grapple with this. How do you get these things that are so separate in your mind and in your heart to come together? It's going to take time and it's hard.
Oh, yes.
We have to come out of the hurt
Intimacy.
in order to grasp.
Yeah, but you got to really deal with this and you got to wrestle with it.
Yeah, unlearn
As a Jew
first.
especially, you have got to wrestle with this issue.
Gotta admit you
How
might
are you
be
going
wrong.
to get those two things so that the day comes when you can't tell the difference between the Torah and the Spirit? Or the Torah and the Spirit. You can't tell the
Or
difference.
Mordecai and Haman.
They're all the same. Yeah, like Mordecai and Haman on Purim. You can't tell. And that's where I'm trying to inch you closer and closer to that.
Haman's not.
But it's hard. I mean, it's something you're going to have to wrestle with.
You're see the
Hopefully,
point. Yeshua said, make them one as
Hopefully,
we are one.
hopefully, that image of it being two mountains, not one,
Right.
That
will
helps.
help.
Will help, yeah.
Because they are one.
That makes sense.
They're one. Jerusalem is one. It's one.
Not two
But it's
separate.
two. The Torah and the Spirit. Mount Sinai is one, but it's two. It's Horeb and Sinai.
And two breasts will still give the same milk and meat.
That's right.
That's
That's
true.
exactly right.
Right. You can suckle off either one.
So that's as good as I can do. That's good.
That's actually really good.
Okay, so you can just shake your head and I'll understand. Okay. All right, so in Isaiah 40, Jerusalem is the gospel, and that's what's supposed to teach us or preach Yeshua.
Yes.
All right, so Jerusalem's divided and screwed up.
Yeah.
So we're not preaching the gospel right, or it's not being preached.
What it means is you go back to the way it used to be. God set it up A, B, C, D,
Do away
E.
with the Torah and have the Spirit.
So what we got to do is go back and discover what's A, B, C, D, E. Not what it is now. It's all screwed up. Right? So the trick is to go back and recapture the way it's supposed to be. Because it was for about 2,400 years. It was. So it, it's a pretty long time. So it is recapturable, but it takes work.
Well, even though it's divided, you have your Palestinians, you have your Jews and stuff, the city's divided, but in a sense it isn't, because it's still, it's not a two-state, and it will never be a two-state. Because if it does, that would nullify everything.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
That's
Well,
political.
it does.
No. We're talking about, like, what do you look at to have it preached to you?
But, I mean, for it to go back to where it was before. That's why I'm saying
Yeah,
God will never allow it to be.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to refocus it
Okay.
because it's going off the wrong direction.
Rabbi Trail.
In Acts chapter 2, it said that they were all gathered together in one place. Where was that place?
The temple.
The temple. Right, the temple. And they were,
One accord.
One
One
for
accord.
unity.
Or in a hut.
yeah, in Hebrew, that's levecha,
Right.
one heart.
Oh,
Right.
right.
One heart. But there wasn't one.
Japanese accord.
It was a bunch.
120.
And, from every nation. Actually, 70.
Just be in agreement.
But they were two, Jews and Gentiles. But they were one heart.
That's it.
So if you can go back and recapture the way it used to be, like how was a sacrifice done? How does that preach to me? How is a mincha, a bread offering, given? That's the gospel. Figure it out. It'll preach to you. How was the ascent up to Jerusalem made? That's going to preach to you. What was the process of the red heifer? It'll preach to you. All these things that God set up for us to do, for the Jews to do, is the gospel. It's just you got to dig, like you said, you got to work and dig to get it to preach, because it's not going to give up that
You get
information.
stuck real hard.
It's not going, it's not going to give the information up willingly. I guarantee you.
Yeah, and
You gotta plant.
It's like you gotta pay for it.
Hold on. You gotta plant. You gotta dig. You gotta water. You gotta have that thing grow up, and then you gotta work it to make bread. It does not give itself willingly. There's no such thing as a bread tree. You gotta make it. You gotta work it. You gotta dig. But it will preach to you like crazy if you can do that. Yes, ma'am.
Would you ever consider planning like a trip for all of us?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have to save our own money,
Yeah.
so we can all go with you all to
Yeah.
Israel
Yeah,
and learn.
we were just talking about that.
Like do a group trip, so we can all go, and then you can.
That'd be cool.
I was just talking to somebody this week.
Go see the real deal,
I know some really cool places to go that you can walk up
tourist
mountains.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It would be cool to go.
Yes, I would. We've actually, I've prayed about that
Next
several
year or
times.
something, we'll pray about it,
We
and we'll
should.
see how much it costs, and
Do some.
so everybody has time to save the money, and we can all go.
Several
save
years
the
out.
money.
After income tax.
The women stay with the women, the men stay, or whatever, your husband, wife,
Well,
whatever.
here's the thing. Here's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Before that could happen, I'm looking for this. Like when I'm going to teach, people go like this. I'm ready to learn. That's what I'm looking for. It ain't there yet. It's still very distracted, very bifurcated when he's cutting half.
You can't wait that long.
It's very disparate, scattered.
Well, we can pray for it.
You can't wait
But
that
it's
long.
coming. It's coming, but it's going to take some time. Yes, sir.
So right now that you were talking about the milk and the meat,
Yes,
that
sir.
mean that we can have like cheeseburgers?
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Abraham served
Let me tell you something. Did you read the introduction to the pictures book, Pictures Restored book?
Yes.
Do you remember that, what the butcher said to me?
I wasn't sure because I was like thinking about it in the Orthodox way, like you separate meat and cheese.
What, did you read that? What I said?
Yeah.
Okay. There used to, see what I'm saying? What I'm saying? There used to be a kosher butcher shop in El Paso called Alex's.
Yeah, a long time
And
ago.
we used to go there all the time. I used to love going to Alex's.
Yeah.
Well, I was starting to learn. I was a believer. I was starting to learn. And I was raised, Dean and I were raised as completely pagan. We didn't care about anything. But then I got born again. I started learning some stuff. And I went to Alex's and I said, hey, can I have a salami and Swiss? Everybody went, what? Who said that? And he said to me, don't mix the milk with the meat. That's like milking a cow with a monkey wrench. And I said, I don't care. I want it. Give it to me. So he did.
You did?
Yeah, of course. So
Making money,
after
It's a
that,
business.
after that,
Biggest deli in San Diego.
after that, I kept bringing it up and he kept bringing it up. And he says, you believe in the Yeshua, don't you? I said, first of all, it's not Yeshua, it's Yeshua, and yes, I do. And that's one of the reasons I want a salami. What do you mean? What's that? Well, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. I said, you want to separate Yeshua from Judaism. Yeshua is Judaism.
Right?
They need to be together. Yeah, but I don't want to serve it to you. I said, then don't serve it to you. They should be together. When we keep talking about it and stuff like that. But I do it on purpose. I don't care about health. I don't care about anything like that. I care about the fact that it's the picture of Torah and Yeshua together all the time.
And you plant a seed, because now he's gonna have to think about that sooner or later.
Every time he slices that salami, every time he slices that Swiss cheese, he's gonna think about
You
it.
know in secret he was eating them to death.
He may not have been so secretive.
So
He's closed for.
that's why we eat milk products on shavuot. Now, if you eat the milk products, it should make more sense to you.
Right. It does.
Does that include the pork too?
No. Pork was never food.
Remember you said all things before?
No, No.
That's not what he said.
Picture.
All right, I
It says in the-
I got that part, but
It says
I'm
in the-
asking,
it says-
remember,
Do a study on
It says in the
You don't want to eat it anyway.
Let Michael answer.
It says in the Mishnah, it says in the Talmud, the Gemara, not the Mishnah, it says, the pig, the chazir, why is it unkosher? Because it lays in its own crap,
right,
puts its cloven hooves, which are totally cloven, out and says, see, I am clean. This is Rome. This is Rome. Because they do everything they can to, just put it American, to screw you out of something.
You said
That's
Rome?
Rome.
This is Rome.
Romans.
The
Rome.
Roman Empire, the Roman Catholic Church.
The Roman principality. It's more than just the ethnicity or race. It's a
Spirit of
spiritual
Rome.
principality.
Right.
When you
And what he meant, what the rabbi meant was that all of Christianity comes from that root of Rome. And it puts its cloven hoof out and says, see, I am clean. And then it rips you off.
Can I confirm what you said? Because on Facebook today, a cousin of mine is a Roman Catholic, and she put a picture of Happy Birthday Roman Catholic Church on Pentecost.
on
That should
Pentecost?
tell you everything about how
that's a
people
huge
believe. When
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Roman Catholic Church
Yeah.
has nothing to do with our Yeshua, Jesus.
They weren't even
Christ.
around.
But all the
I know.
sects come out of that church. All
So,
the
They did a good
so
brainwashing.
holidays, pagan
That's the chocolate
holidays,
milk.
everything that we all celebrated for a very long time thinking it's okay. Come on. It's not biblical.
what? That's what.
But that should confirm what you're saying, because that's what she posted, a picture of the Roman Catholic Church. Happy birthday.
So if you want to know why pork is unkosher, go study a pig. Go find out about it. Go study them. What is their lifestyle? What's their habits? What do they do? Why did God make them the way they are? What kind of thing is it a picture of? And then you'll understand. They will preach the gospel to you. All right, let's pray. Father, thank you for Shavuot. Thank you for the mountains of Zion, and thank you for the mountains of Sinai, and thank you that you came down on Mount Sinai, both mountains, Horeb and Sinai, and you burned it completely with your fire. And I ask that you pour out your Holy Spirit more and more to help the Gentile part of your body and the Jewish part of your body, so we don't know anything either, to understand how Judaism shows Yeshua, how Judaism preaches the gospel. How is Judaism the gospel? I ask that you would weave together the milk and the meat, that you'd weave together the Torah and the Spirit more and more and more in this group. I'm asking specifically for this group, Lord, in the name of Yeshua. Let there be a beginning on this Shavuot. Thank you, Lord. This is when I got born again, and this is when my daughter Rebecca got born again.
Really?
Yep. on Shavuot.
Michael, from your
Mouth to God's ears.
Jewish thinking understanding, how would you define born again? Because that may be very different than what some of us have been brought up understanding that
It means
to
your
be.
dead spirit came to life. God is, Yeshua is a life-giving spirit, and when we're born, we are all born with a dead spirit, and when Yeshua comes into your spirit, He makes it alive. That's it.
I'll explain this one. I thought I was born again. I'm being born right now.
Born again again.
Right.